Shalom, Kol Halor, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen that look like the heathen. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And yeah, this is just gonna be a reading from the book of Maccabees, just to make some points about salvation being only for Israel and how spiritually the nations are coming against us. That's why they create so much propaganda is surrounding the Hebrew Israelites and love to throw the word black in front of it. And what you're looking at is an image from the movie that came out in the, I believe it was early 2000s or late 90s, with Morgan Freeman and Kevin Costner. And the movie is called Robin Hood. And the truth of the matter is, both characters should be brown flesh people. And as you can see, Morgan Freeman is brown, and he's not even like a super dark brown. He's like about a medium, little more than medium dark, a medium brown person. And but still, even though his skin is physically brown and visibly brown, people will still, in ignorance, refer to him as black. All right, and you have to remember, as I showed you in the video, with the actor Orlando Jones in that series, American Gods, when he got fired for that scene, when he said, when these Dutch, MFers decided y'all was black and that they was white, all right? And when they decided y'all was black and that's the nice name they call you, all right? So black and white are complete social constructs that were made up to control the narrative. And like I said, in the character, if you really are following history truly and not being biased, and Esau is very biased and racist and hateful, and he just refuses to admit the truth, even though there's so much evidence that proves that he's being hateful, biased, and racist by hiding the truth about what really happened during the time of the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages, which helped shape today after the fall of Rome. And as I began to read here in First Maccabees, the 5th chapter, spiritually the same things are happening with the nations coming against us. So without any further ado, the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, the 5th chapter. And it reads, and hold on, let me close this door. It's locky. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry, there was no way out of that. Yeah, this is First Maccabees 1, the First Maccabees 5 and 1. And it reads, Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. So this awakening, when you think about the awakening that's going on, in 2007, and how the elders have been, given the whole breakdown of Abba Bivens, John the Baptist, and Elijah, right? And how the truth had to come back into the world because the Israelites lost their way, lost their heritage, and didn't know who they were for generation after generation after generation. And as a matter of fact, let me jump over to let's jump over to Baruch, to the book of Baruch. All right, 2 and 30. And it reads, For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And the fact that we just can't get on a plane or get on a ship and sail out of the country. And if we do it, we have to get permission. We have birth certificates. We have social security numbers. We have property. Those are signs, just like you see the imprints of of who owns these images. All right, on this page, because there's no way I can reproduce and sell these. That would be a violation. These people want to own and control everything, including the air and the water. All right, they want to control the air that you breathe and the water that you drink. All right, so we're a nation in captivity still, and not only all Americans are captives at this point, but none no more so than us. All right, we're our as the Israelites, development has been arrested like no other people in the history of mankind. And the fact is that when you don't know you're a slave, that's the brilliance of Esau Edom's wicked plan, is that he made you a slave and you don't even think you're a slave anymore. You think that you were free, but you got emancipated. So you need to look up what emancipated means. All right. Because emancipated just literally means being transferred from one owner to another. So you got transferred from the private sector slave ownership to the public sector slave ownership. All right, that's why you're so in mass numbers, very unproportionately in the prison systems. All right, that's why even though they're it's especially Judah. All right, I mean it's a lot of Northern Kingdom locked up in that mess too, but especially Judah is so disproportionately mass incarcerated because of all the free labor. All right, but nevertheless, let's go back just to prove that we were in captivity. Okay, so let's go back to First Maccabees 5 and read a little bit more. Just gonna skim through the chapter. Not gonna read the whole chapter. Just the highlighted points. All right, and it says, "Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people." So, and that's what's happening. What you got to understand is that during this time, this was during the time of the Hellenization of the Israelites. Hence the reason why they removed the Apocrypha from the Bible, to hide the fact that when it's that the Israelites were under Grecian captivity, right, and they literally became spiritual, Greeks in the form that they were following the Greekish fashion. That's where the word Hellenist and Hellenistic come from. All right, the Hellen was one. I forget which is which. I always get them mixed up, but the definition of the two is one was an Israelite who knew that they were Israelite. All right, I believe that was a Hellen. All right, and then a Hellenista was an Israelite that didn't know, and I think it's reversed. And a Hellenista was one that didn't know that they were Israelite and spoke. I mean, Salakia. One was Israelite that knew that they were Israelite. The other one was one that didn't know that they were Israelite. All right, and but they both kept the Greekish customs, etc., etc. And now I forget which is which, but in a nutshell, that's pretty much accurate about the two. All right, and so this time period that I'm reading about is the time when these things happened to the Israelites and they lost their way. All right, and they Jeremiah 17:4. As a matter of fact, let me just go to First Maccabees, the first chapter, just to solidify it. Now that I keep saying it, First Maccabees 1:11-15, and it reads, "And in those days there went out wicked men who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well, and certain of the people were forward herein, that they went unto the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen," which is really going off and defiling our land and our home. All right. And it says, "Whereupon It says, and they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So this went on for 400 years before the Lord came. That was a 400-year period of this Greekish fashion, which is why when you get to the New Testament, when you get to the writings of Paul, Paul was saying there's no difference between the Jew nor the Greek. All right, because you had our people who knew that they were Israelites, all right, who knew they were Benjamin, Judah, or Levi, and then you had our people who didn't know or did know and still were keeping the custom of the heathen, but upon hearing the gospel of Yahushua were returning to the fold. And so those of us like the character you see on the screen who have been worshiping Allah and in this setting or worshiping false gods, when they try to come back to because that's what he's doing right here. He's praying to the east, all right, which is what Israelites do. All right, okay. And Muslims also do that too, but except Muslims believe in Allah, and Allah is not the name of the Lord. Allah is just a Hebrew word which means power, which is just another title for the Most High God, but not His actual name. All right, it's just another, just like saying the Most High. That though both saying Allah and both saying the Most High are actually righteous titles, it's not wrong for saying them. But if you're trying to tell someone the name, then the name needs to be said, and the name is Yahweh. Okay, so the Israelites became, wicked and lost their way, and basically became heathen. When you get up to 41 in First Maccabees, the first chapter, it says, "Moreover, King Antiochus, and these are Edomites, by the way, wrote to the whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone should leave his laws." All right, because you got to remember, as often compared, this part of the world and they're doing this very time was just like being in New York or Chicago, just like being in California, in San Francisco or LA. All people were there. All right, but also the Israelites. Okay, and it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote unto the whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone should leave his law. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. All right, so it didn't say all the Israelites, but many of the Israelites. So many of the Israelites became Hellenized. They became Greeks. Once again, hence the reason why when you get to the New Testament, when Paul says there's no difference between the Greek nor Jew, because those Greeks were Israelites that were coming back into the fold. All right, it was prophesied that we will be scattered and lost and given unto the and worshiping the gods among the heathen that we were scattered among, etc., etc. That is what happened. So let's go back to the fifth chapter, and it says in verse 3, 1 Maccabees 5:3, "Then Judas fought against the children of Esau in Idumea at Abratime, because they besieged Gael, and he gave them a great overthrow and abated their courage and took their spoils." Well, we're going to do that again. It's not time yet. All right. You got some rogue entities out there, the Northern Kingdom, all right, that are doing these hits on rich Edomites, but that's just a sign of things to come. That's still fulfilling prophecy, though, because the curses that were upon us are now beginning to fall upon Esau. All right. He's losing his wealth, his health, his hope, his daughters, they're completely losing their way, and they're becoming a no people and a low people. They're being looked. Their wickedness and their infamy is now being examined by the world. All right, but you're going to have many of our people. You got people among our own people that try to do their own thing and not follow the way of the Lord. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example of that. In this same chapter. And I'm going to start at 48. And it says, "Whereupon Judas sent unto them in a peaceable manner, saying, let us go through, because you, all right, matter of fact, I need to start up at 46. And it says, now they came unto Ephron. All right, so there's many battles. Let me set the stage. Many battles being fought against the heathen that were round about, including the Edomites. All right. And it says, and now when they came unto Ephron, this was a great city, in the way that they should go very well fortified. They could not turn from it either on the right hand or on the left hand, but must pass through the midst of it, which reminds me of the series of Game of Thrones when they had to go through that one city and across that bridge, and that guy betrayed the Stark family, and the Red Wedding. All right, it was a situation like that for those of you who have seen it. All right, and it says, whereupon Judas sent unto them in a peaceful manner, saying, let us pass through your land, go into our own country, and none shall do you any hurt. We will only pass through on foot. Howbeit, they would not open up unto him. So he was saying, even our mounted men would get off their horses and walk through. We just need to pass through to get to our own land so we can handle our business. But they refused to help. So now they became enemies. All right. Because they refused to open unto him. It says, wherefore Judas commanded a proclamation be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in the place where he was. All right. So they locked down in place. It says, so the soldiers pitched and assaulted the city that day and all that night, till the length of the city was delivered into his hands. So we took the city. Our brothers took the city. All right. When they slew all the males with the edge of the sword and razed the city, burned it to the ground, and took the spoils thereof. See, we're allowed to have the spoils of the heathen, including their women. We're going to have lots of concubines. Remember, you're an Israelite according to your father, not according to your mother. All right. And it says, and passed through the city over them, and passed the city over them that were slain. And after this, they went over the Jordan into the great plain of Bashan. And Judas gathered together those that came behind and exhorted the people all the way through till they came into the land of Judea. So went up to the Mount of Zion with joy and gladness, and they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them were slain until they returned in peace. So they wiped out that city, and then you lose a man. It said, and Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, the captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, let's go up and get us a name and go fight against the heathen round about us. And so when you look at the works that have been done by the street ministry of the Great Millstone and the camps to teach the likewise doctrine, you see these upshift camps that want to come up some other way, the same way that Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, the captains, all right, wanted to do. They want to take this truth and try and get a name for themselves instead of just doing the work. That alone, the Lord said he would give us, fame. We're not to seek it ourselves. People coming in with that rap culture, hat wearing, hip hop, Hellcat driving, damn near, toting guns and slinging drugs. They're no difference from the rap guys. All right. But trying to come up some other way instead of just going out and making your body a living sacrifice, putting yourself in danger on the line in the elements and before the people to teach the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's basically what it's all about. And so that's why I said there's things that's going on in this chapter which are mirroring what's going on today. Or today is mirroring those times, I should say, they happened first. But it's happening again spiritually, and pretty soon it's going to be physically. And then it says, so when they had given charge against the garrison that was with them, they went toward Jemiah, and then came to Georges and his men out of the city and to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea, and there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men. And so that's what's going to happen with these men who trying to come up some other way and not follow, the law, statutes, and commandments properly and teach the word directly and correctly. all right, and not doing it for filthy lucre's sake. And all these 501c sellout camps that basically took that bag and made these deals with Esau Edom, because the great millstone and the camps that teach likewise are perfect examples on how to deal within Esau's kingdom. All right, because you got these camps that's trying to prosper and make money and look good, instead of just doing the work. Because now this isn't our rest and this isn't our time to shine. All right, and that is going to come to us. But now it's not that time. So let me go to because the way things are going, people want to know what's going to happen at the end of Leave the World Behind. Well, I'm kind of telling you, because the victories that Judas had, it's going to be mirrored by us, but it's going to be even greater. All right, it's going to be even greater than before. All right, and as we enter fully into Jacob's trouble, and these things, and this war, this WW3 goes full blown, and Jacob's trouble goes full blown, because they both have started. They're kind of happening. All right, they just aren't full blown to it's in your face, in everyone's face yet. But there's a lot of Israelites suffering and dying. You tell all them Israelites that that's been getting trafficked. And all those women and children getting snatched up on their way on that long journey on foot, coming from Venezuela and South America, trying to come to America. All those hundreds of people that got taken by the jungle. A lot of people got killed by jaguars. Women getting gang raped and sold into slavery. And all the crazy mess that's going on, trying to make that trip here. Women who started off on that trip, not pregnant and made it to America pregnant, but not by choice and not by a man of their choice. Okay, but this is 2nd Ezra 16:73, and it reads, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire." And the way that you purify gold is through fire. There's no way around these atrocities and these birth pains. All right, as that baby of chaos is going to be born. There's no way out of this. The only way out of this is through it. The same way that Judas Maccabees and Judas and Jonathan and the men of the Lord, the valiant men that were with them, fought their way through that land and that castle that blocked their way. That castle which was built on a bridge, which the only way through was through them. All right. They fought their way through it and then took spoil of them. Why? Because the Lord was with them. All right. But ultimately, the Maccabees all died and failed because it wasn't time for our glory yet. All right. But the things that they went through were written and happened for a reason. All right. And it happened for the reason to fulfill prophecy and set everything up so you'd have the proper understanding of what happened to us during the time of the forced Greek Hellenization of the Israelites, all right, and why it says in the New Testament there's no difference between a Greek or Jew. But you remember in Acts 21, matter of fact, let me read that and then we'll shut it down. It's Acts 2, not Acts 22, but Acts 2. And sometimes my mind is my tongue is a lot faster than my mind. Or my mind is a lot faster and I say things. We got to be careful. Because I had to make a correction on myself the other day talking about the curse of Ham, knowing in my mind that Noah is the one that cursed Canaan, all right? Cursed Ham's son, Canaan. But I kept saying Ham, well, I should have been saying Noah. Knowing in my head that was Noah. But here we go. This is Acts 2:21. It reads, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. All right. And then it gives the answer to and exactly who they're talking about. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by the miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know. The Lord wasn't doing miracles in the midst of the heathen. So this is not for them. All right. What is for them is they're going to be spoiled and put in chains, all of them. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.